There is a moment when silence reveals more than any words can ever say. And in that silence, you may come to realize this truth. Nothing is missing. You made that up. What you call missing is often a perception, not a reality. It is born from a restless mind trained to focus on absence instead of presence, to see lack instead of abundance. The seed of suffering lies not in the world, but in the stories we tell ourselves about the world. The story of not enough time, not enough love, not enough success, not enough peace. But look deeper, look beyond the noise of your thoughts. What is truly missing in this moment? Breathe and you'll find that everything essential is already within you. The breath flows, your heart beats, the ground supports you. These are not small things. These are miracles disguised as ordinary life. When you align your perception with the truth of what is, not the illusion of what isn't, you become free. Free from chasing shadows. Free from the exhaustion of becoming, and at last you awaken to the power of being. A calm mind sees clearly. A still mind recognizes wholeness. If you feel that something is missing, do not search outside of yourself. Observe where the desire arises. What does it serve? And what would happen if you let it go? In that letting go, you'll feel peace. True peace is not found by adding more to your life, but by subtracting the illusions that veil the fullness already present. Let your daily practice be one of remembrance, not learning, but remembering who you truly are and what you already carry. Do not be deceived by the eyes or tricked by the mind. Instead, cultivate awareness. Practice simplicity, bow to the moment, and then you will know there is nothing missing and there never was. The perception of lack is an illusion that quietly governs much of human behavior. It is the subtle whisper that says something is missing, that you are incomplete, that you must chase, acquire, or become more in order to finally feel whole. But this whisper does not come from truth. It is born from a restless and untamed mind, conditioned by comparisons, distractions, and unrealistic expectations. The moment you begin to measure your life against others, against imagined ideals, or even against your own unexamined desires, the illusion takes root. You begin to feel separated from the abundance already present within and around you. Yet if you pause, breathe deeply, and become still, the illusion starts to dissolve. In the stillness, you realize that you are already breathing, your heart is beating, your body is alive, and consciousness is flowing through you. These are not signs of lack, they are proof of wholeness. What more do you need in this moment? The feeling of not having enough is often the result of overlooking what you already have. A single moment of presence can reveal how full life truly is. The mind may insist on missing pieces, but the soul knows nothing is missing. It is not the world that is insufficient, but the perception that is clouded. When you bring awareness to this, you regain your clarity. You stop seeking and begin seeing. You stop chasing and begin appreciating. The illusion fades when you look with the eyes of truth. To live free of the illusion of lack is to live with power, gratitude, and grounded peace. It is to understand that you are not broken, not behind, not in need of more to be whole. You are already enough, and nothing essential is ever missing. Wholeness exists in the present because the present moment is the only place where life truly happens. It is where the breath flows, the heart beats, and awareness arises. In this space, there is no past to regret and no future to worry about. There is only now, and in this now, nothing is broken and nothing is missing. The idea that something more is needed comes from leaving the present, from mentally wandering into timelines that don't exist in this moment. When you bring your full attention to the now, you begin to see clearly that everything you need already exists. Your body is functioning, your awareness is intact, and the opportunity to experience peace is always available. The mind, when left unchecked, convinces you that fulfillment is somewhere else, around the next corner, after the next success, or in someone else's hands. But the truth is simple. Wholeness is not a destination, it is a realization. And that realization only happens when you return fully to the present. Every distraction, every desire, every feeling of insufficiency fades when you become rooted in the here and now. This moment carries the silence, the simplicity, and the sacredness that reveals your completeness. Nothing outside of you needs to change for wholeness to be felt. You only need to wake up to the depth of this moment. Let the breath guide you, let the senses awaken, and let your mind become quiet. When you do this, the illusion of lack disappears. You stop identifying with the incomplete version of yourself and instead embody the truth that you are whole, not because of what you have, but because of what you are. Presence is the gateway to this truth, and wholeness has been waiting for you here all along. The stories you tell yourself shape your reality because perception is the lens through which you experience the world. These inner narratives are not just passive thoughts, they are the architects of your emotions, your decisions, and ultimately your life. If you constantly repeat a story of limitation, failure, or unworthiness, you begin to live in alignment with that belief, even if it is not rooted in truth. A single thought, when repeated enough, becomes a belief. And beliefs are powerful. They direct your focus, filter your experiences, and define what you think is possible. You may not realize how much influence these internal stories hold until you observe how your reactions, choices, and energy shift based on what you tell yourself. If the story is "I'm not ready," you will hesitate. If it is "I always fail," you will stop trying. But if the story is "I am learning" or "I am growing," then even challenges become stepping stones. The mind thrives on patterns, and whatever narrative you feed it becomes the script you act out. You can begin to change your life by changing your inner dialogue. Speak to yourself with honesty, but also with wisdom. Notice the tone of your thoughts. Are they grounded in fear or strength, doubt or truth? The difference between someone who rises and someone who remains stuck is often the story they've chosen to believe. When you become aware of the stories that loop through your mind, you reclaim your power. You no longer react unconsciously. You respond with clarity. Reality then becomes a reflection of conscious choice rather than conditioned belief. The mind is your servant, not your master. Guide it wisely. The story you choose to live by is the foundation upon which your entire life is built. Choose one that uplifts you. Stillness brings clarity and freedom because it allows the noise of the mind to settle and the truth of your being to rise. In a world that moves endlessly, where thoughts race and distractions are constant, stillness becomes a sacred space. It is not the absence of action, but the presence of awareness. When you become still, truly still, you begin to see what was previously hidden beneath the surface, your assumptions, your fears, your attachments, and your habitual reaction. Without stillness, the mind keeps spinning stories, jumping from one thought to another, never pausing long enough to question what is real and what is illusion. But in stillness, the fog begins to lift. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. What once seemed confusing becomes simple. The mind, when quieted, becomes a mirror, clear and reflective, offering a deeper understanding of who you are and what truly matters. Clarity is not something that arrives through effort or force. It emerges naturally when you stop trying to control everything and simply observe. In this clarity, freedom is born, not the kind of freedom that depends on circumstances, but the inner liberation that comes from no longer being a prisoner of your thoughts. You become free from old patterns, reactive emotions, and unconscious behavior. Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing from a place of inner alignment. Actions taken from stillness carry wisdom and power because they come from a centered space, not from confusion or fear. When the mind is quiet, the heart can speak, and often its voice is gentle but deeply true. In the simplicity of stillness, life becomes less about struggle and more about presence. It is in this space that clarity arises, and through that clarity, you walk freely, unburdened, awake and whole. Letting go reveals peace because holding on creates tension, resistance, and inner conflict. The tighter you cling to expectations, outcomes, identities, or past wounds, the more you invite suffering into your experience. The mind often convinces you that holding on is strength, that to release is to lose something important. But true strength lies in your ability to loosen the grip, to trust the unfolding of life without needing to control every step. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means surrendering the illusion that you are in control of everything. It means allowing life to flow through you instead of constantly trying to force it in your desired direction. When you release what no longer serves you, you create space for new thoughts, new energy, and deeper awareness. In this space, peace arises, not because something external changed, but because your internal resistance dissolved. You stop fighting what is and begin accepting what is present. The weight you carried, often unconsciously, begins to lift, and you realize it was never the world that was heavy, but your attachment to how it should be. Peace doesn't need to be found. It reveals itself the moment you let go of what blocks. Whether it's the need to be right, the fear of the unknown, or the echo of past regrets, letting go is the key that unlocks freedom. It is not always easy, but it is always liberating. Through this release, you return to your natural state, one of openness, calm, and silent strength. Letting go is not a one-time act, but a practice, a daily invitation to soften, to trust, and to be present. And in that presence, untouched by clinging or control, peace is not a goal to achieve. It is the ground beneath your feet. Simplicity is a form of mastery because it reflects clarity, intention, and deep understanding. In a world that glorifies complexity, more often means confusion, and busyness is mistaken for progress. But true mastery is not found in doing more. It is found in doing less with greater presence and purpose. The master knows what to keep and what to let go of. They are not impressed by noise or overwhelmed by options. Their actions are precise. Their words are deliberate and their mind is uncluttered. This level of simplicity is not accidental. It is the result of discipline, inner work, and refined awareness. It takes far more effort to simplify than to complicate. The one who seeks mastery removes the unnecessary, clears the distractions, and focuses entirely on what matters most. Simplicity is elegance in action. It is not plain or lacking. It is powerful because it is pure. It brings freedom, not limitation, because it eliminates the burden of excess. The more you simplify your inner world, the clearer your path becomes. When your thoughts are quiet, your intentions sharpen. When your schedule is uncluttered, your energy deepens. When your needs are few, your gratitude grows. Simplicity reveals the essence of things. It invites you to move with ease rather than effort, to act from stillness rather than stress. Mastery through simplicity is not about controlling the outer world, but mastering the inner one. You stop reacting and you begin responding. You stop chasing and you begin creating. Each choice, each step becomes intentional. Simplicity allows the profound to emerge from the ordinary. It is the space in which wisdom breathes. When you walk the path of simplicity, you do not lose anything essential. Instead, you uncover it. You discover that less noise reveals more truth. And that is where mastery begins. That daily practice reconnects you to truth because repetition builds remembrance, and remembrance leads you back to your essence. In the noise and chaos of life, it is easy to forget who you are and what truly matters. The distractions are endless, are constant, and the mind, if left unchecked, becomes filled with stories that disconnect you from your inner stillness. But when you return each day to a chosen practice, whether it is mindful movement, silent meditation, intentional breathing, or conscious reflection, you step away from the world's illusions and step into your own center. Practice is not about performance or perfection. It is about returning. Returning again to the present moment, to the breath, to the silence within. With each repetition, something begins to shift. The mind softens, the heart opens, and clarity begins to rise. You no longer search outside for answers because the answers have space to emerge from within. But truth is not something you must chase. It is something you remember, and daily practice is the path to that remembrance. It strengthens your awareness and deepens your alignment. Like water carving stone, consistency wears away illusion and reveals what is real beneath the surface. When you practice daily, you build trust in yourself. You create a rhythm that anchors you amidst uncertainty. You begin to see that your peace does not come from conditions but from connection. A connection that is restored each day you turn inward. Truth is not found in grand gestures but in quiet devotion. Through daily practice, you reconnect with your breath, your body, and the still presence that has always been there. Over time, this becomes your foundation, a way of being rooted in what is eternal, unshaken by what is temporary. So this is the gift of returning to practice. It brings you home.